Coach Bunyan describes him as a leader on the floor, and I think bringing in a veteran PG is definitely something that they needed.
Yeah, and as you see, during the Sheffield, his role has really changed, where at the Gladiators, they really need him to score.
Yeah, definitely, and he's proved that he can do that from behind the arc. He's proved that he can get downhill. He really is a threat anywhere on the floor.
And then also his defense.
Yeah, he's a pest. I mean, he's up there with, another player we're highlighting with Josh Ward-Hibbert. But, DeVereaux Ramsey is definitely one that you don't want to see matching up with you.
Well, if the Gladiators are going to be able to claw themselves up to that 8th spot, Ramsey going to have to be on his A game. As we flip things over to the Newcastle Eagles, we talked about the injuries, but Josh Ward-Hibbert's really going to have to step up.
Yeah, definitely. He's an impact player and one that you see, similar, has a defensive presence and an offensive presence, and I think he hasn't necessarily had a chance to step into those big minute roles thus far this season, but this is definitely his time to step up and could be a full 40 for him tonight.
And when you look at his game, he's one of those guys where you can't look at the box score. You have to actually watch him to appreciate his game.
Definitely, and I think as a player, you appreciate that more than anything. Playing against Josh, he's a pest, but, when you're on his team, you absolutely want him out there with you because he's going to hit the floor for you. He's going to go to battle for you, and those are things that don't show up on the stat sheet, but inevitably with more minutes, it's going to show up.
Well, most importantly, he's a winner.
Yeah, that he is. They've got the trophy under their belt this far this season, so I know this team is going to be craving some more wins.
Well, let's take a look at the Newcastle Eagles roster. You see it there. The start lineup has been tweaked a little bit as the injuries. Who do you see picking up the scoring slack for Micah Karu?
I'd like to see it be Christian James. He's definitely proved that he can knock it down in those harder moments. So Alan Aikens obviously is someone who's a proven scorer, so I don't think it's going to be any one person tonight. I think we'd like to see 3 or 4 people in double digits tonight.
Well, one thing Christian told me before the game, that he's ready for the moment in his first start. Let's take a look at the Gladiators roster. And when you look at this roster here, you have a hard time seeing how they're sitting at the bottom of the standings.
Yeah, they are a deep roster, but, at the beginning of the season, they're similar to what Eagles are going through right now. They were plagued with injuries. We had Ali Hocic out for a good period of time there. Anwas out with an injury as well for a good period of time. Both leaders, both vets. So, be nice to see them integrated back into the roster. And this is a deep bench when you've got everybody. So they have some surprises, I'm sure.
Well, it's tough to be successful when Coach Mark Studel said 21 players, 3 coaches.
Yeah, it's quite the revolving door, unfortunately. So, but Johnny Bunyan has a big role to fill.
Well, it looks like things are starting to settle in Caledonia. Let's take a look at our referee crew for the night. Matt Lloyd, Nick Nassy, and Paul Onsworth are your crew in action. We take a look at the Gladiators in the beautiful, powder blue uniforms, and the home team, the Newcastle Eagles, in the black strip with the white trim. There he is right there, Coach Bunyan, still searching for that first win, 0-5.
Yeah, I saw him in his interview. I definitely think he's hungry for a win. You can see it in him. Former player, he's definitely ready for it.
And once you get that first one, everything starts to flow, but it is about that first to get that monkey off the bat.
Yeah, definitely. I think I experienced that watching Chloe go through it with us this season on the women's side. So, once you get that first one under your belt, the rest is history.
Well, welcome inside Virtue Motors Arena. As I mentioned early, near capacity crowd here. The Newcastle Eagles looking to lock up the 4th spot, while the Gladiators are looking to claw themselves out of the basement. And the Gladiators strike first. Barnes. Back over to Ramsey. Shot clock under 10. Whelan spins, finds the open Malcolm. Great defense there by Newcastle.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good early shot for Malcolm. That's one that he wants, so they're not mad at that shot, and I'm sure those are going to fall for him tonight.
Pulliam, who's been a little bit quiet offensively, really needs to start seeing the ball go down the hoop. And speaking of that,
there goes that guy. Christian James out the gate early, so that'll feel good for him. But I agree with Trey. He needs to find his footing again. He came out strong. He's going through a bit of a dip, but the only way is up.
Well, I mentioned it before Christian Games. He assured me that before this one, he would be ready to go, and what a start.
Yeah, that's good confidence from him. That starting spot will do that.
As Barnes answers back.
Yeah, that big man out there, that's one that Darius is going to have to guard a little bit further out.
William looking to get into the creases. Defoe with the mismatch. Over to Seneca. Shot clock winding down. Gets to his signature move.
Not able to knock it down there, though, but good rebound as we see Ramsey bring it back down the other end.
Ramsey, one of the quickest first steps in the league, creates space for Whelan, who buries it.
My goodness. Okay, we're coming out early hot.
Gladiators flawless from outside. 2 for 2 from beyond the arc. We mentioned it before, the Newcastle Eagles a little short on bodies. No Del Pesh, no Micah Karu as James stepped through.
Oh.
Beautiful footwork, but comes up short.
Yeah, tough little finish there. That's a smart, patient play from him, though.
Whelan takes the contact. And who else? And a charge is called, Defoe.
Yep.
I mean, that might be his 10,000 charge taken in his career.
That's not even. I think the only man capable of counting that stat would be Dan Routledge.
Absolutely.
So I'm sure he's got it somewhere.
12,001, he tells me. Great job there by the veteran. Year 20 at the tender age of 40 years old. I'm sure he'll feel that one tomorrow.
Yeah, and he's definitely going to have to step up. We're going to be seeing a lot more of him with Del Pesh out. So, you know, this big man lineup here, we don't really have an answer for it.
Well, the Gladiators with an early 4-point lead here at Virtue. Shot clock winding down again. Pulliam. Again, we talked about his need of stepping up offensively with no Micah Karu, but Eagles able to get a second opportunity. Allen Aikens, guarded by Fagbinley, spins around, great defense, rims out.
Yeah, it's a tough one from Allen Aikens. He's so capable of having those really easy, patient finishes, but I'm sure they'll start to fall.
Whelan with the errant pass there to Malcolm Fraser. Malcolm, excuse me. I do that once a game with him. Because his last name is a first name in the
When
US.
you hear it out loud, yeah. No, I hear it. I almost thought I had it wrong there, so you tripped me up.
I mean, we know Malcolm Del Pesh.
Yeah.
That's Fraser Malcolm.
Yeah, we've got it now.
Yeah. Defoe, short. Again, Eagles a little cold offensively. Nice cross by Whelan, gets in. Drops it off to Fagbinley. He turns it over. James on the run. Steps around Whelan. Great defense, but finishes.
That's a big finish from him. I think he wanted the foul there, but I have a feeling that this is going to be a physical game, so that's going to be something he's just got to figure out how to play through.
And it feels like it's going to be a Christian James game. A couple of weeks ago here, had a 30 ball. Will he be able to repeat things here? Extra pass, and Malcolm buries it. That gives the Caledonia their third 3 of the night.
Yeah, my goodness, they are on fire from behind the line. So I'm kind of waiting to see Eagles get a little bit of an adjustment here.
Again, you look at the standings, and when you look at that roster, this is definitely not a 9th place team.
Yeah, it definitely shouldn't be.
Over the top to Fagbinley, who turns it over for the second consecutive possession. Barnes to go take a seat. That's Theo Hughes.
I think it'll be interesting to see how Mark rotates tonight with his Eagles. You know, losing a big in Del Pesh, you've got Darius. Will is such a different big to Darius, so it'll be interesting to see how that rotation works tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Will Neighbor hasn't seen many minutes this season, but I'd be shocked if he didn't get a cameo tonight.
Yeah.
Allen Aikens with the mismatch inside, and he turns it over. Eagles just a little bit discombobulated offensively. They don't have that get-out-of-jail card in Akaru.
Yeah, that they don't. Money Mike seems to be there whenever they need him, so he's a miss tonight for sure.
I mean, the last time we were here against the Gladiators, 40 big points in an unbelievable performance.
It's like there's a magnet to the front of the rim right now. They keep hitting him short.
And Hughes turns it over. And again, the Gladiators off to a good start, but you see there just the careless, unforced turnovers.
Yeah, and I don't think that's necessarily Eagles playing, you know, particularly tight defense. I think that is just, like you said, some loose and carelessness from Gladiators.
One thing you don't want to do on the road is have the turnovers mound.
I think this Ramsey-Pullman matchup, too, is going to be interesting tonight, PG for PG.
Nice move by James, who gets by Hughes and count the bucket.
There he goes, drawing a foul there. That's a great drive from him. I think we can see him early taking over this game.
You can see the look in his eyes right now, laser focus, as we mentioned before. His first start here in Newcastle. Has started some second halves here, but one thing about his game is just so versatile. Unorthodox, can play inside and outside. And if you put a 7-footer on him, he's going to win that race every time.
Yeah, absolutely. He is really hard to guard. You put somebody too small on him and you're going to lose the battle inside. But once you pull the defenders out, he has that quick first step. So he really is able to do it all.
Unable to capitalize on the free throw. But is able to shrink the lead down to 3. As Ventura makes his introduction as well. Hughes off the mark. Eagles come up with another stop. Pulliam, we mentioned it, has to step up. It's plays like that the Newcastle Eagles need out of him.
Yeah, that's a great baseline drive from him. Way to be aggressive. I think when he sees an opportunity, he's got to take it tonight. As much as we want him facilitating, he's got to be a little selfish in moments.
Patrick Whelan trying to maneuver through the defense and is grabbed by Christian James.
Up and here we go. Here comes Will Neighbor into the lineup alongside Josh Ford-Hibbert.
Eagles going to their bench early. Gladiators as well. You see it there. Albert Ventura, a resume of ACB. Not too many players can say they played at that level before.
Yeah, definitely not.
Speaking of him, immediately makes his presence felt.
Yeah, they are feeling it from beyond the arc tonight. So that is, I'm curious to see when the adjustment is going to hit here. We're running people off the line. But yeah, Gladiators are definitely proving themselves from the three-point line tonight.
Well, 4 for 5 from beyond the arc for the Gladiators as they lead 12-8. Ventura gets his pockets picked by Pulliam. Great defense.
Yeah, it's great defense from him. Those hustle plays that definitely have the potential to turn the tide of a game.
Again, Gladiators with their 5th turnover here. On pace for 20+ on the road.
I think you want to see more like 5.5, not necessarily 5 turnovers in the first quarter. So still a lot of game to play to already have 5.
Cole Long steps around and he's blocked by Onwas. Onwas, one of the best defenders in the league. Long taking advantage of the mismatch inside.
That's a good finish from him. I'm glad he went right back at him. And sometimes, you know, if you get blocked under the rim, you're hesitant to go right back up with it. So good move from Cole there.
Lead back down to 2. Spillman, and you talk about Jet Spillman, a new signee who can absolutely light it up.
Yeah, that he can. I think that's huge for him, and he's already found his footing here in the first quarter. So I think the big things to expect from him in this end of the stretch.
And one thing that I realized standing close to them, and he's a large guard as well.
Yeah, definitely one of those that you can pull the floor out, stretch 4, 3-4.
Ventura unable to capitalize on the great defense. Eagles come up with the stop. Cole Long attacks Whelan. Patient, steps through, nice finish.
I love that from Cole. I think initially it looked like he was about to give the ball up, but he saw red in front of him and went for it.
Josh Ward-Hibbert. Just a little too aggressive there on Patrick Whelan. And Whelan will head to the line for 2.
Yeah, you know, if you're Gladiators and you see the shortened roster for Eagles, you're definitely going to want to be going downhill, drawing fouls where you can, so Mark is forced to make rotations.
Seneca Knight makes his way back in the game, and the young fella, Bucks most improved player, Saver Kande.
Yeah, he's one that's going to have to step up. Seeing him get on the floor early, I think that he'll have a chance to get a feel for the game, but we know he's going to shoot the ball. He was given that confidence in the trophy final, and he's had some minutes, especially with the EMBL when injuries happened early in the season, so it'll be good to see him step up.
Patrick Whelan, throughout all the flux there at the Gladiators, has just been as consistent as ever, coming off a season where he was Team of the Year and British Team of the Year last year, and obviously a week ago helping Team GB qualify for the Eurobaskets.
Yeah, he definitely has quite the resume on him, and some great defense from him too there.
As Seneca Knight turns it over, Ventura. Whelan. And speaking of that man right there, Mark Studel has seen enough as the Gladiators hit their 5th 3 of the quarter.
Yeah, they are absolutely lighting it up from beyond the arc tonight. So, you know, and you can't live and die by the 3. You know, eventually you do start to go cold, but you know what? As long as you can ride that wave, stay with it.
Well, one thing we know about the Gladiators is they make 9.2 threes a game. They don't shoot it at a very high percentage, but they definitely get them up.
Yeah, that they do. You know, they've got guards that can post up. They've got guards that are back-to-basket guards, but also they can pull out and stretch the 3.
Coach Bunyan still in search of that first win, 0-5, but from the optics, it seems like the Gladiators are playing much better basketball with him at the helm.
Yeah, it feels more composed, you know, and maybe that's a testament to who he's brought in during this time. You know, there's a lot of vets, there's a lot of experience of basketball sitting on that roster over there, so there's definitely going to be tempo and pace that they're going to be able to maintain here.
Well, will tonight be the night in the Northeast against an old rival?
Yeah, I mean, you'd like to think so, especially when the Eagles are down a couple guys. You know, this would be the time to do it, so I know that they're hungry for a win.
Well, Mark Studel there in that timeout, I'm sure he would have been telling his team that the Gladiators attempt the most threes in the league, so it's no surprise here that they're letting them up.
Yeah, definitely not, but they need to start running them off the line a little bit.
19-12. As the Gladiators have an early 7-point lead as we enter the last minute 30 here in the quarter. Seneca Knight off a Will Neighbor ball screen. Off the dribble, barely draws iron. Ramsey looking to get things organized. Spillman. Back over to Ramsey. Shot clock getting low. They go into the big fella who steps away. Eagles looking to push. Near turnover there. Again, things looking just a little bit clunky offensively for the Eagles.
Yeah, it is looking a little bit, they're just not finding their chemistry right now. These are different 5s. They're going to have to work through this. These are the awkward growing pains of dealing with the roster changes.
And that's a great point. This is a 5 as Ramsey keeps things cooking for the Gladiators.
Yeah, they are still lighting it up.
Wow. Caledonia 6 for 8 from behind the arc as Eagles hold for 1. Seneca Knight looking to get into the crease of the defense and is tripped up.
Yeah, I think drawing a foul right there on, was that on Onwas? No, I think they've, no. But drawing these fouls early, especially guys that are knocking down shots, I think that foul was on Spielman. I need to, yeah, it was. So drawing those fouls on these guys early is something they want, so I think Eagles need to look to go downhill a little bit more.
Well, one thing that the Eagles are great at is getting to the free throw line as they go for their second attempt. And when your offense isn't free-flowing, the best thing to do is to get layups and to get to the free throw line.
Yeah, absolutely. It changes up the pace of the game a little bit, too. You get that little bit of respite, especially when you've got, you know, not a very deep bench tonight. So that's what they're going to be looking to do.
As Mark Studel seems to be thinking about all that travel that's upcoming as the Eagles hit the road tomorrow.
Yep.
With a date with the London Lions as Ramsey from half court.
Woo.
And that will do it here in Virtue Motors Arena, where the Caledonia Gladiators hold a 22-14 point lead. And as we reflect after those 10 minutes, Sarah, what jumped out at you?
I think Gladiators look a lot more composed than I've seen them. I think a lot of their games, they've looked a little bit frantic, like they're trying to chase the game, and tonight it feels like they had a game plan, and Johnny Bunyan definitely has them ready to go tonight.
Well, you see the stats there. The biggest takeaway is that the Gladiators have outscored the Eagles 18-0 from beyond arc.
Yeah, that is a wild stat line after the first quarter there. But, you know, Eagles are still in the game. But, yeah, that three-point percentage, I think, is something that they need to take note of. Caledonia ride that high, but Eagles need to understand it might not be their night from behind the line, and that's okay.
And when you are injured, like the Eagles, when you're missing two starters, you know, what's important for a team, because we just saw it there. There's a five out there that we hadn't seen play together all season. So what's the most urgent?
You know, I think just having confidence in your bench. You know, I can speak from experience, you know, coming off a game that I had to play 17 minutes where I'm used to playing more like 4 or 5 minutes. You know, you just got to trust in your teammates, and every time you get the ball, you just got to shoot with confidence. So.
Well, Micah Carew.
You'll be going home with the Newcastle Eagles goodie bag. Thank you both so much for playing.
We see it there. Money Mike, a fantastic February. I mean, what a 2025 for him. He was the trophy MVP, player of the month. I mean, what is it that this guy can't do?
Yeah, he has absolutely been a powerhouse. So first player of the month for Newcastle Eagles since Ramon Fletcher won it in April, I think, of 2021,
That is correct.
Yeah, so long stretch without a player of the month for this club. So that's great for Mike, and he definitely proved himself.
Well, he's collecting all the accolades so far this season, and I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't walk away with that MVP.
Yeah, we'll see. We need people healthy, and I think as we go, Mike is definitely chasing it.
Well, we're about to kick off the second quarter here, but
Clock didn't go, it looks like. Shot clock did, and the clock.
The shot clock and the game clock wasn't on the same page, as it still sits at 10 minutes. And as a referee, how do you keep track of all that? You got to watch these amazing 10 athletes on the floor as well as know what's going on with the clock.
Yeah, I get asked that question a lot of if I ever want to referee, and the answer is absolutely not. It's just too many things to pay attention to. But shout out to these guys, because everybody knows where their eyes need to be. Although as a player, I think sometimes we think they're just looking in all the wrong places. But, you know, those are complaints we keep to ourselves.
Well, credit to them, because I'm always told that men can't multitask.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I plead the fifth.
I can sometimes.
Yeah,
Depends on if I want to.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a choice. That's what makes it all the more frustrating, Drew.
Well, let's get back to the action as we got the technical difficulties worked out, and Eagles needing to get back on track. And Allen Ikens, and that's the way to do it right there.
Yep, easy score, easy pass inside, easy finish.
Alahajic, nice pass to Ventura, and Long says, get that out of here.
I love that block from him. Cole always likes to pretend like he doesn't have the hops underneath him, and he definitely got up there and sent that out of bounds.
The way that his defense has improved this season, early in the year, I vividly remember watching Manchester basketball coming in here and looking to take advantage of Long, and he's really stepped it up on that side of things.
Yeah, definitely.
And again, DeVeryl Ramsey is a man on a mission.
That he is. I think he is just as hungry as Coach Bunyan is for a win, and he's definitely leading out there tonight.
Ventura comes up with the steal.
My gosh.
Slows things down.
Thought he was going to pull up.
Ramsey takes the contact, and maybe he just needs to get used to the personnel, because if you got Ramsey on the break, he's one of the quickest guys we have in the league here.
Yeah, we would definitely want to get it out ahead to him, and he is a downhill player.
Well, foul called on the Newcastle Eagles. Deshaun Allen Aikens, and it'll be sideline out of bounds for the Gladiators. Ramsey, not known for his scoring at Sheffield, but is really showcasing his skills so far for that. Shot clock 1 and down, and I don't think Ella Hodges had an awareness.
Yeah, that's kind of where you look to your bench and you hope that as that shot clock's winding down, especially when you're away, you need your bench to be behind you there counting down.
Well, not the start that Gladiators fans would want after that amazing first quarter. Let's see if the Newcastle Eagles can pick things up. Princeton Onwes picks up the foul on Josh Ward-Hibbert. Referees being consistent. That was the same call against Josh Ward-Hibbert there in the first quarter. As you see, Ward-Hibbert a little bit giving that clap like, yeah, same thing, same thing.
Yeah, that's what we talked about. That's a bit of that pest behavior from him.
Seneca spins, nowhere to go. Nearly coughs it up. 4 seconds on the clock. Seneca has to make something happen here.
Good offensive board.
And another great defensive stand by the Gladiators as Deverl Ramsey is able to draw the charge.
Yeah, that's a good one. He definitely sold it, as you should. I think he had a little bit of Darius Defoe spice in there.
Well, he did a great job of beating Ward-Hibbert to the spot. You see it there, squared up. That's a great call.
Yeah, that is a great call. He did. He got there on time. He knew exactly what was coming, and he read that play really well.
Ward-Hibbert not happy with the call as he goes and takes a seat. 8 minutes here in the second. Ramsey pulls up, stops on a dime, bang, bang.
Yeah, he is definitely making a statement tonight that he is not just a defensive threat, he is an offensive threat as well.
And 8 early points from Ramsey, who had it going here a couple of weeks ago before the international break. Pulliam, who we spoke about earlier, still cold.
Yeah, I think this ball screen coverage with Darius, this is where you miss, Del Pesh. He's a little bit more mobile.
Oh, no. Oh, no. And Deverl Ramsey might be in his bag right now.
Yeah, he is definitely in his bag. He is feeling himself. I think it's going to be, we got a big night coming for him.
Wow.
Definitely a good player to highlight. We picked well.
Early points, you see it there on the screen, and all jumpers.
Yeah, he is definitely lights out right now.
Wow. And the Gladiators, we talked about it, on a 7-game losing streak. So far, a 13-point lead here in Virtue. And if you're Mark Studel, how do you stop that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just communication. I think, like you said, these are different fives coming out. They've got to get their communication under their belt and figure out how they're defending that ball screen a little bit better, because Caledonia isn't doing anything particularly special right now. They're just getting easy buckets and the shots are going in right now. So I think they need to step it up a little bit defensively. Everybody's got to communicate. We got to be flying out and just want it more.
Yeah, when you're struggling like that offensively, you always say you want to use your defense to create offense. Well, they've allowed the Gladiators to cough the ball up 7 times, but haven't been able to take advantage with only 6 fast break points from that.
Yeah, and I think some of that speaks to, some of those early turnovers with Caledonia were just kind of by way of lazy passes and not necessarily fully locked in yet. So I think now that we're into that second quarter, things are looking a lot tighter, and I think we're going to see a lot more from Ramsey tonight.
Well, the Newcastle Eagles got a tough stretch coming up there, as I mentioned earlier. They hit the Capitol tomorrow as they face the Lions on Sunday. And then they get on a flight Sunday evening and head to Denmark, where they will face the Bakken Bears in the quarterfinals of the EMBL on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's going to be a long stretch for them. Definitely time for recovery. Guys need to be taking care of their bodies. Down some on the roster. I know they're hoping for Mike to make a good return. And yeah, it's going to be a long few days for them, but I know that they'll be confident.
Well, this is a guy they need to get going as he draws his second charge in the first half, Seneca Knight. Well, excuse me, that was his first. The first one was on Josh Ward-Hibbert, but, you know, if anybody's capable of picking up the slack, it's Knight. Yeah,
definitely. He is a proven scorer, and I think he needs to get back in his groove a little bit. I think we saw a lot of early points from him earlier in the season. He was having some really big games. He's kind of slowed down a bit, and I think he's looking to get back into things.
And this is when you need offensively. This is what we talk about, really relying and digging on your sets. It seems as though the Eagles are really ball dominant at the moment, stagnant, and that's the cause of only 16 points in 13 minutes.
Yeah. Let your offense work for you is what coaches will tell you.
Well, somebody's offense that's been working for him is this fella here, DeVeaux Ramsey, as he steps back in the corner, and oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Take a bow, young fella.
He is giving us a highlight reel.
Wow. DeVeaux Ramsey, 12 early points here in Newcastle as the Gladiators look to get Johnny Bunyan his first victory and snap their 7-game losing streak.
Yeah, another foul there from Onwas, which puts him up to 2 now. So definitely not someone you want to see get into foul trouble.
Wow, 31-16 here, and you can probably hear a pin drop in this building as the Gladiators, specifically Ramsey, has taken the air out this building.
Yeah, he definitely has. He has the ability to do that, but you know, pace of game, basketball is a game of runs, so it's going to happen. We're going to go up and down, but we can't play 1v1 basketball here.
And James, again, short. As the Newcastle Eagles are searching for offense. Ramsey nearly turns it over there, 6 on the clock. In fact, Benlay spins, nowhere to go, flips it up, and everything is working for the Gladiators.
Absolutely everything is falling for them.
And the Newcastle Eagles are in a 17-point hole with 5:50 here in the second quarter. And who's gonna be the man to get things going? As An would say, it won't be you, James. And Gladiators off to the races again. Down to Barnes. And that's not a guy you can leave open. And Eagles dodge a major bullet there.
Yeah, and I think in these moments, this is where Mark does look to Mike. Mike Okara is able to hit some big shots, knock down a 3 for us, change the pace of the game, and right now we just don't really have that.
James tries to squeeze it into Defoe, stops his cut, and he turns it over.
Yeah, it's a good look from him. Unfortunately, just didn't make it into the hands of Darius, but not a bad look.
Well, if there's one thing that's a silver lining for any Newcastle Eagles fans is that they've been in this position before. And they're a team that rarely gets blown out. They always find a way to claw themselves back into games.
Yeah, that they do. There's definitely belief in this team, so I think as long as they stick to that, we very well could have a close game by the end of 40 minutes tonight.
As Ramsey turns it over, James bulldozes himself to the basket, but unable to finish things off. But he will head to the line for 2.
Yep, and that's where we want to see Eagles getting to the foul line tonight. I know they're going to need to pick up a lot of points from them from the charity stripe tonight.
Speaking of the charity stripe, that's the only place Christian James connects for a much-needed point that puts the Eagles on 3 for this quarter, being outscored 11-3. And now all you got to do is what they like to call get a knockout, get you 3 stops in a row, and get some momentum.
Yeah, they got to dig in here. I think it speaks to stance. You know, guys got to get down, dig in, and just be hungry for it, which I think Trey looks like he's going to be the start to that.
And flex offense by the Gladiators, who frees up Whelan, but again, unable to connect as Alan Ikens has his mind made up that he's getting to the basket as he wills himself inside.
Yeah, you saw that before he hit half court. He eyes on the prize there.
Eagles on a 4-0 run. Whelan gets the switch. Spagbenle looks to go to work. Inside, turns around, fades. Eagles with another stop. James step through, turns it over, and Whelan will get his easiest basket of the night. Actually, he'll make it even better. You don't see that often for Patrick Whelan.
I was gonna say, I don't think I see him often try to get up there like that, so good for him on capitalizing on the moment, though.
Wow, as Defoe takes the contact and count the bucket.
Big and one from Darius there. They definitely need those scores from him. Now he's seen one go down. Let's hope he stays aggressive.
As Defoe gets his first bucket of the evening, as Johnny Bunyan wants to pause things and calls for time. You see the leading scorers there. The Gladiators with 2 guys in double figures, and the Newcastle Eagles just unable, besides Christian James, to get things going.
Yeah, and I said at the top of the game, I think we want to see quite a few players in double digits tonight for the Eagles. I think that's how they're going to get this game to a win. So I think the Eagles really need to start seeing everybody score.
Well, you mentioned it there. There's Defoe, who was able to connect on that previous basket. The last time we were here 2 weeks ago, broke the all-time field goals made to claw himself to second place.
Did he really? Wow.
Not that he needs any more records.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like he's running out of room to put it all on a t-shirt, so.
Already Mr. 28 now.
Yeah, Mr.
Titles
28.
to his name. You see him right there. But all he's focused on now, I know him too well, is getting number 29 and getting a win tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, especially when you're down guys, when you're playing with a roster that isn't necessarily at full capacity, you want to be able to prove that you're still a force to be reckoned with, and where they've beat Caledonia already so many times on the road and at home, they want to be able to continue that.
And that man there, Johnny Bunyan, has brought a sense of relief to the Caledonia Gladiators.
Yeah, call it a breath of fresh air.
Yeah. Better choice of words, that. Well, the final 3:38 remaining here in the second quarter, and if you're the Eagles, you just want to get this thing within single digits. As Defoe connects.
Yeah, that free throw line is a high percentage that we need to see from Eagles tonight if they want to see it. You see this gap close going into halftime.
5 for 6 from the line tonight as Spillman tries to get inside and unable to muscle his way in. And Eagles get their knockout, 3 stops in a row. Let's see if they're able to take advantage as Pulliam looks to get busy, but Ramsey with the aggressive defense. Defoe takes the contact, fades.
The pink shoes almost add to the kick effect. I love it.
Well, Darius Defoe looks as though he's a man on a mission to get these Eagles back into the thick of things.
Yeah, and that's what you appreciate when you have vets out there on the floor. He really is able to understand when it's his time, when he's got to take things over, and it takes the stress off other guys. It's going to take a couple plays off for the guards, but as Darius is able to get to the free throw line again, we need to see Trey continue to be aggressive. We need to see Deshaun continue to be aggressive.
Well, I've known Darius since 2005, and I must say I've never seen him with pink shoes. And you must be a confident fella to wear pink shoes.
Yeah, I don't know. You can wear whatever color you want these days, though. They come in everything, so. But none other than Darius to do it.
Well, he's able to make both and bring this lead back down to 10 and wake up these Newcastle Eagles fans. Let's see if they can pull together another stop. Ramsey, 12 early points. Quiet here in the last few minutes. Gets inside the paint and draws the foul. And it's just that first quick step that's hard to contain with Ramsey.
Yeah, and I think, you know, you always understand defensively there's going to be something you're going to give up, but I think right now those 1v1 matchups right now, you got to guard your yard. Trey's going to be frustrated with that foul, but at least it wasn't an and one.
Well, this performance shouldn't be a surprise to the Newcastle Eagles because on Valentine's Day a couple of weeks ago, Ramsey had a breakout game, 25 points, and it looked very similar to what we're seeing tonight.
Yeah, his confidence is definitely going to be high, especially when you're coming off a game like that. Coming back into the same arena, these Eagles fans yelling down at you, you know, it's easy to get yourself fired up.
Well, someone who hit 4 threes on Saturday?
Something like that.
How important is confidence for a player?
You know, I think it comes from your teammates first and foremost, but, you know, you can definitely see it in Ramsey. You know, he's very much a forward player. I'm a quieter player, you know, I knock down my shots and run back on defense.
Well, Ramsey able to split the difference here, and Eagles with an opportunity to get things within single figures for quite some time. And Seneca over the Pulliam, who knocks it down.
That's a big three. That's a momentum shifter for them. That's huge.
Pulliam not known for his three-point shooting, but knocks it down on that occasion. Whelan steps around, over to Ramsey. Ball knocked around as Knight comes up with it. Allen Ikens hesitates. Pulliam looking to go for two, and he does.
Yeah, it's a beautiful play from Darius there. Able to pin the guy down low, let Trey go by, and that's a beautiful pass out.
And we talked about the importance of Trey Pulliam needing to step up after a quiet couple weeks. Came out the gate strong, but really has been quiet offensively.
Yeah, and I think he's, you know, once he finds his footing behind the three-point line and he's able to do both, you know, we talk about that with Ramsey where he really is a threat. It's so hard to guard someone who is a threat outside the three, can also get by. You're asking more of your help side defense, so that's huge for him to be able to do both.
Well, we mentioned Pulliam. He has to pick up the slack tonight. You see Micah Carew right there, the league's leading scorer at 20-plus points a game. And boy, he's going to be a miss if he's going to be out for a while.
Yeah, you know, I think in reading the report from Eagles, you know, they're confident he's going to make a return. I think it's more just asking when.
See Kande right there as Eagles able to bring things down to 5, and sometimes all it takes is just knocking down that first bucket.
Yeah, I feel like you're giving me the eyes like I might know something about that, so.
I mean, we talked about confidence, how important it is for us players, and when you're in a funk, when you're struggling, it's like a sense of relief when that ball goes down the hoop, and then the floodgates begin to open.
Yeah, exactly. You just need to see one go in, and I think, you know, you see it from Trey right there. He hits one from the corner, he gets up, opposite side wing, he's able to knock down another one.
Well, Eagles getting it done here with their defense since that timeout a couple of minutes ago have really tightened things on this side of the floor. Let's see if the Gladiators able to get their mojo back as Ventura throws it into the big fella. And another great defensive stop by the Eagles. Pulliam 2 for 2 from beyond the arc. Nice hesitation move and blows by Spillman.
Beautiful play from him, that baseline drive again. That's his second one, I think, this game, so that's a great play from him.
Whelan running out of space there. Malcolm, who hears it from the crowd.
Yeah.
And the Eagles with an opportunity to lock things up here as Allen Ikens steps around, but great defense there by Spillman.
Yeah, a lot of discipline there not to foul. Good jump ball.
Great hands there, able to kind of become a magnet to the ball as Allen Ikens tried to step around them. And
gosh, I'm just looking out at this 5. This is a tall 5 for Gladiators. You are right. This is a big group.
well, this is a large team.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a very large roster. The only question mark throughout the season that I threw out there is Ventura is able to get the party going again from beyond the arc for the Gladiators.
That's a hand-down, man-down moment.
I mean, the Gladiators with 8 made first half threes as Seneca Knight answers back.
Yeah, these are the plays we need to be seeing. It's not overcomplicated basketball. It's just making the right reads and knocking down your shots.
Well, the offense is woken up here at Virtue Motors Arena. Extra pass over to Whelan. They go back into the 7-footer, who decides to spin around long, and wow, great touch by Hughes.
Yeah, I think more than anything, Eagles just wanted to see this be single digits heading into halftime.
And Knight finishes things off at the buzzer. And that concludes the first half here as the Newcastle Eagles defense and offense were able to wake up in that second quarter, Sarah.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I think, like I mentioned, basketball's a game of runs. You got to be able to just understand Caledonia started out hot, but Eagles were coming.
Well, we talked about it. This is a team that never dies, that's always able to stay within the game. And if you take your foot off the gas, if you're the Gladiators, you look up and now it's a 3-point ball game.
Yeah, I wouldn't relax against any team that Mark Studel is coaching. He's definitely someone who creates a culture of, you know, getting that dog in you, fighting for every loose ball. This isn't a team that I would definitely sleep on.
Let's take a look at the first half stats. When we looked at it after the first quarter, you saw a bunch of zeros there for the Newcastle Eagles, but they seem to heat up there from the free throw line and 3-point line.
Yeah, and you know, it's only 3 threes, but when you look at the way that that can change the trajectory of the game, it's huge. So still sitting at over 50% though for the threes for the Caledonia Gladiators. They are shooting absolutely a fantastic percentage tonight.
Well, looking at it from the Gladiators' perspective, I mean, I'm sure Coach Bunyan has to be happy with his guys going in at a lead, but what would he be telling his team at the half?
Take care of the ball more than anything. You know, I think that they're at 8 turnovers now in the first half, so I definitely think they want to see less than that in the second half. Just being patient and stay foot on the gas.
Well, we have some first half highlights where I'm sure there's going to be a lot of B-roll of 3-pointers from behind the arc for the Gladiators.
Yeah, a lot of Ramsey as well.
Barnes was able to get things started there, and then Ramsey using those paint touches to create open looks for teammates.
Yeah, he's definitely proving himself as a facilitator and as a scorer.
The Newcastle Eagles finally able to tighten things up defensively, and then Cole Long was able to really spark things up.
Yeah, definitely, and I think between him and Trey, you know, being able to go downhill like that and get some easy buckets, you know, like I said, it's not overcomplicated basketball. It's just coming off a ball screen, getting a good shot up.
Well, that's a puzzle that the Newcastle Eagles is going to have to solve if they're going to come away with a victory and keep a hold of that 4th place spot. But the Gladiators got their eyes on the prize as well as we near the playoffs, looking to creep up that championship ladder. Well, sit back and relax as we have our halftime show full of the best action and plays from last week, and more importantly, a feature from Newcastle Eagles star Josh Ward-Hibbert.
A new dawn rises, where champions emerge and redefine the game, where limits are tested and greatness is unleashed. This is when legends are born. Super League Basketball. A new dawn is here.
Basketball is the second most played sport by young people in the UK. And this is a great opportunity for us to engage the younger generation in being more sustainable, recycling more, and ultimately reducing waste and protecting the environment.
In the trash can and throwing this away in the trash can, you're doing it in the right place. You're composting, you're recycling, you're reducing, reusing. It's just super important to learn that from a young age because you carry that into your adult life.
I majored in marine science and I minored in sustainability. So it's actually really exciting to see us partner with a company who is really invested in sustainability.
I think it's fantastic. FIFA is such a quality name. name in the waste and sustainability sector. We're a quality name in our sector. They're very much about community. We're very much about community. So I think it's going to be a great partnership.
I started playing basketball when I was super young, probably 5, 6, 7 around them times. My older brother's 3 years older than me. He started playing and like I always looked up to him, so like whatever he did, I wanted to do the same thing. So from the earliest days I can remember, he was going to like his basketball practice and I'd just be somewhere on the sides or somewhere just running around, running with a basketball, shooting with a basketball, just doing something. To be honest, it just kind of progressed from there. Like the more my brother played, the more I played. When I started getting a little bit older and I was able to cope a little bit more, I started to practice, you know, just with his team, and it just kind of grew from there. So really and truly everything that basketball-wise is obviously thankful to my parents for taking my brother, but yes, everything's through him. I also played tennis when I was growing up, and really the same reason. Like my brother was playing when he was younger, and I was obviously there a lot of the time, so you know I picked it up too. So it's tennis. So I played a lot of tennis when I was growing up. You know, I had some moderate success over the junior circuit. I ranked top 10 in the world. I played 4 junior Grand Slams. I won the Aussie doubles. Yeah, that'll be my claim to fame so far. I love the sport. I think it's an amazing sport to be part of. Some parts of the sport, it's like things I still miss to this day. Yeah, it wasn't the route that I guess God had installed for me, but some of the friends and some of the adventures and stories I've got from playing tennis are the things that will stay with me for the rest of my life and things that have molded me to be the person I am today, and probably wouldn't be the same basketball player I am without the tennis side. Representing my country and winning trophies, it's definitely been a blessing. It's been an amazing journey, and hopefully it's going to continue.
Kale, he'll drive the lane and he'll throw down. Welcome to Nathan Kale's poster.
Yeah, that's nice. We've been waiting for him to enter the game and get himself going here. Takes off.
Right. To the rim, he's denied by Delicum. What a huge block.
That is a basket-saving block by Delicum.
James rips to the right hand, spins, hangs in the air, and that's good! Christian James with the tough finish.
An early contender for possibly player of the day as he spun Ashton Langford at the top of the key and kissed that one off the glass.
Ray down, oh, what a block from Shelton!
Goodness me, what a block from June Shelton, just came across there and swatted that shot.
Ashton Langford to Mitchell. Oh! Two-handed throwdown from Mitchell brings everyone to their feet. Peterson gets knocked off the ball, gets it back, gets it somehow to Alan Hadzibegovic with a great assist.
That's incredible.
Austin off the glass, jammed in by Holden. That will count on the buzzer. And can a momentum play like that fire the Phoenix back into the game? Into James to the spin, blocked by Abercrombie, and Leicester come away with it.
Charles Thompson will get all the credit for blocking shots, but Abercrombie's had some big shot blocks this year.
Nice pump fake, and Abercrombie takes it to the rim with 2 hands.
Wow, back-to-back plays. First a defensive block, and then pump fake, dribble, dunk.
Holden looking to attack. Cross court to Eichelrock. 5 on the clock. White back to Eichelrock. Needs to get it away. Oh, and he finds Holden underneath for the jab.
Wow, team basketball, sharing is caring. Beautifully done, able to move the defense in multiple ways.
Alan Aikins, hands off with James. What about the three? Guarded by Sherfield, puts it on the floor. Oh, it's blocked by Kendall Lewis. Johnson looking to push, lobbed up to Lewis with the alley-oop jam. And Kendall Lewis turning defense into offense. And the Bristol Flyers aren't done yet.
A new dawn rises, where champions emerge and redefine the game, where limits are tested and greatness is unleashed. This is when legends are born. Super League Basketball. A new dawn is here.
Hey, sir, how's your serve?
Probably not as good as Josh's.
Well, this week sees International Women's Day, and to celebrate it, we joined the discussion about the future of top-flight women's basketball in the UK. Lisa Nice, Bristol Flyers CEO and SLB director, caught up with two other SLB directors, Sarah Bakovich, CEO of the Sheffield Sharks, and Jody Jackson, co-owner of the Surrey 89ers, to discuss a number of topics regarding women in the world of sport. Here's a snippet of the chat. You can see the whole conversation on our social media channels.
Going to take probably at least another 5 years for the crowds to get to a level where it is truly commercially viable for football, rugby, basketball, for all sorts of sports. Probably the only outlier is netball, because it's traditionally been, you know, a female-led, a female-only sport. I know that is changing, but that's probably the only one that I could name off the top of my head that is a difference.
Yeah, and I think that's really comes down to participation numbers, doesn't it? So the more we can do our job on the ground and swell those participation numbers, the more likely those audiences are going to grow. And the more likely we're going to see more and more talented women at the top of the game that are, you know, massively entertaining. And you're seeing it in the WNBA more so, you know, in terms of basketball, you're seeing the crowds grow and the interest in the game grow. You're seeing it in women's football, and you've seen it leaps and bounds over the last few years in women's football. So, you know, it is a case of swelling that participation program up and making sure that we can keep building. And we are probably 20 years behind in terms of progress as to where the men were. But maybe not. We can accelerate that gap.
Well, you see it there. 3 strong women involved in a male sport here, and you saw the influx of Caitlin Clark, over the past year. Women are coming.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think even just tonight, you know, we're sitting on an all-female crew tonight on this game. So I think not only are we seeing women able to be in these positions where we're CEOs of teams, but at the same time, even just the growth of the women's league, you know, it's huge. We've seen that investment over the last couple years. I was a part of the very first cohort of the WBBL many years ago, and I think it was 2015, a part of that winning side for Team Northumbria. So, you know, it's grown so exponentially over the last few years, and I think especially what London Lions have been able to do with Euro Cup, it's a testament to what it looks like when you invest in women's sports.
And just talk about the growth you've seen from your organization, the Newcastle Eagles, over the years.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you've got a team that didn't used to have paid players that now has fully paid players that are in housing, that are able to have cars, you know, and that's the difference that makes for us to be able to execute as athletes is insane. So, and I think you see it in the way that we're finishing. You know, now Eagles are top of the table, and I think that's a testament to the investment of this club.
And speaking of that as well, I just saw on a VT earlier this week that the Sheffield Hatters have all paid professional players, and Georgia Gale was talking about how important it is in performance, not having to go and have a side job and work, and it all matters.
Yeah, it does make a huge difference, you know, and I think especially in this league, from north to south, there's going to be all of us are experiencing it in the same way of how much investment matters on us.
Well, I love it. Let's continue to push the message, and us men out there, let's continue to be an advocate and support these women because they deserve it. As we begin to sink our teeth back here in this matchup. The Newcastle Eagles down an early hole here, down by double figures, but able to claw themselves back, only down by 3. And the story of this game is the hot hand from beyond the arc of the Gladiators.
Yeah, they definitely came out shooting the leather off the ball in the beginning there. So, you know, I think this position coming into halftime isn't a bad place to be in for Eagles. I think they'll be quite happy with that, but knowing Mark, never satisfied.
That's such an American term right there, shooting the leather off the ball. You see across town, the Leicester Riders with a halftime lead over the Bristol Flyers, but we got more. Last time I said it was a chicken. What do we describe that as in the stands there?
Looks like a dodo or an, oh yeah, I can see it. It's got an Eagles outfit on.
Well, you did mention Dan Routledge's name earlier, and he did come through with the stat. The Gladiators have led at halftime only 8 times this season, and they are 3-5 in those games. Lost the last 4, and 3 of those 8 games have gone into overtime.
Wow. There are days with stats like that where I really would like to just get inside of Dan Routledge's brain and see how it works. Because
he must not have a job, because there's no way you can have a job and pull out stats like that.
But no, with a stat like that, you know, I think definitely Eagles do need to be on their toes a little bit. This is not the time to relax. You know, as much as they have confidence that they were able to dig themselves out of a hole, there is still 20 minutes of basketball to play.
And the come away from that from a Gladiator fan is don't think this is over with, because we've seen this story many times before. As we start the third quarter, Pulliam able to hit 2 threes from downtown there in the second quarter to get his confidence going as Defoe comes up short. Ward Hibbert with the responsibility of trying to slow down the hottest man in the building, Ramsey, as Fag Benlay turns it over again, and if I'm not mistaken, that's his 3rd turnover of the evening.
Yeah, we see Cole Long starting the second half as well in place of Alan Aikens, which I think probably is an adjustment there to give him a little bit more strength beyond the 3.
Pulliam. Ward Hibbert tosses it up. Great defense by Fag Benlay. And Long, a great job by Ramsey there of drawing the foul there.
Yeah, that's an IQ play on his part. He knew exactly where he was. He knew where to put his body, and Cole, unfortunately, just wrong place, wrong time there.
Only the first foul on Cole Long. Ramsey. Down to Barnes, who I think Defoe might have took a shot, and Trayvon Barnes able to capitalize on it. I'm not sure if it was to the throat or to the chest,
yeah,
but
looks like he was holding his chest.
Well, it clearly affected Defoe, who is a very strong human being. But I will say, when you get to our age, those shots, they hurt a little bit more. And I'm not going to reveal what our age is.
You meant you and Darius, right?
I meant us 3. You're in this together.
Okay.
We're in this together.
I'm still chasing y'all.
Wow, I thought we were, you know what, I thought we were
10 years of friendship, but I'm still chasing y'all.
How easily they depart you. Wow.
I'm holding on to my 20s for dear life.
Pulliam. Looking to get into the crease. Great defense there. James raises up, and Gladiators able to gobble up another stop. And Fag Benlay finishes things off. Great pass.
Yeah, great ahead pass to Ramsey, who you know is going to be able to facilitate. That's where they look their best, getting downhill.
And that's one part of Fag Benlay game that doesn't lack, is the athleticism, the length. James tries his luck again, and short for the second consecutive shot. Ramsey over to Malcolm. Barnes left wide open. The same spot he had an opportunity to win things at on Valentine's Day in regulation, but Eagles ultimately taking over in overtime as Micah Karu with 40 big points in that one.
Yeah, that's a big jump ball from Josh. You know, I think that's something we highlighted that may not show up on the stat sheet there, but big rebound, way to pull it down, able to stop the ball, and now it's a baseline out of bounds instead of them having to run in transition.
Exactly what we talked about, that's a guy that you have to watch the tape, because if you're looking at the box score, you might not be impressed, but then when you watch the film, he's jumping out at you because he's picking up 94 feet, he's on loose balls, he's doing all those small winning plays.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that's something that they pick up from Josh in practice. Being on the court next to him, he's a guy that you always hear.
As Barnes travels. And both teams just a little slow out the gate. Kind of how this game started, and then things started to pick up in the second quarter. But again, the narrative coming into this one, Eagles looking to put a stronghold on that top 4 finish, which gives you home court advantage in the playoffs. And the Gladiators, on the other hand, looking to join the party as they are looking to creep up to 8 as Pulliam able to get inside.
That's a good finish from him. Nothing too crazy, just an easy floater.
Ramsey rejects the ball screen, gets inside. Fat Bentley able to pick it off over to Malcolm, and again, another issue with the clock.
Not sure what's gonna happen on that one though.
I'm shocked that, I don't know the rules on it, but it looked like there was a scoring opportunity for the Gladiators. Are you able to just stop it abruptly like that if there's clock malfunction?
Yeah, you do have to stop it. It's a ref's whistle, so, but only on the ref's discretion. Table can't do it.
Well, nevertheless, 4 on the clock as Barnes gets tangled up, and it looks like he might have injured his ankle on the play. But able to walk it off.
489. That's raffle.
But if anything, it gives the Gladiators a fresh set of clock as it gets reset to 14.
And we did call the foul there on Christian James. That's his second.
Barnes nowhere to go. Pump fakes, steps around, uses that long length as the ball rolls in.
Yeah, it's a great finish from him. Way to use his length there, and he's able to just get from one end to the other.
7 personal for Trevon Barnes here tonight, as Gladiators push their lead back up to 7. Pulliam, no look to Ward Hibbert. Great defense there in the backcourt by Cole Long. Eagles with another opportunity here. Pulliam sees off the high hedge from Barnes. Cole fades, and he can't come up with it, but Ward Hibbert, again, as we talked about, making those winning plays.
Yeah, that's one that will show up on the stat sheet, though. That's a big rebound, a big offensive board for him. I think it's nice to see Cole as well. You know, they're chasing him off the line. He's not able to get the 3 up, but he's able to get into the paint and still make something happen.
But that's one thing about Cole Long that doesn't get talked about a lot, is that as much as he is a threat from the outside, he is a playmaker as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when we first kind of started talking about him and at the beginning of the season, I think we were really only seeing that 3-point threat, but he's found his footing, and then inevitably in a setting like this where you've got less guys and your roster is shortened, guys have to step outside of their role.
Well, Josh Ward Hibbert able to get his first points of the evening as he goes and takes a little breather.
Wow, those are only his first points. See, this is what you mean. That was only his first points, but we have said Josh's name so many times already during this game.
The game is more about points. There's a lot of aspects that are important to the game of basketball. Whelan splits the double and finishes at the rim.
Ooh, that'll be a delay game warning. But yeah, it's a beautiful play from Patrick Whelan.
I mean, we talk about evolution. I mean, this guy, Patrick Whelan, he came in as just a shooter, but now has evolved into, there aren't many holes in his game.
Yeah, no, he's definitely one of those do-it-all guys, and I think a veteran that you want to have on this team that's definitely going to make a huge difference, and he's definitely proved himself on this Gladiators team.
Will lead back up to 7 for the Gladiators as Allen Ikens is able to slip through, nowhere to go, but able to squeeze through the contact where he will go to the line. And the Newcastle Eagles in this quarter getting that work done from the, as Coach Mark Studel there with the T warning. I mean, we see one of those about once a game.
Yeah,
here at Virtue.
I don't think Mark is any stranger to having a warning.
As Allen Ikens able to finish the first. And the Eagles doing a great job of just sticking around, and that's what you want. You want to make sure you're within striking distance into money time, which is the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and I think where they're going to be able to capitalize is definitely on that free throw line. So they need to keep being aggressive, keep getting downhill, keep making smart plays, and being able to draw fouls.
The Eagles 10 for 11 from the free throw line here tonight as Whelan comes off a screen. Onwas providing another opportunity. Whelan likes this matchup here. This time, it's Spillman.
Yeah, I think that was it was nice to see everybody switching on to who they wanted to be on. I think there was a point that Trey was on Theo Hughes, and that's not exactly the matchup we want. Caledonia weren't able to capitalize on that, but Eagles were able to communicate effectively and get switched on to who they wanted to be on.
Well, I mean, when you played a team 7 times, as Allen Ikens from the top of the key.
He is definitely saying, back off me and I'm going to shoot it.
And that's one thing about his game. He oozes versatility, because you see it there. He's lucky if he's 6'5", and he's guarded by a 7-footer, Theo Hughes.
You had to bring that back up, didn't you?
I did. You know it's all love. Spillman, great defense, loses his footing, and Eagles come up with the stop.
And you said it earlier, Drew, you definitely want your defense to be what's fueling your offense. So that's a big play for them. They've got to ride this momentum, hopefully into a lead here.
Well, Johnny Bunyan going back to his bench as he brings in the veteran with ACB experience, Albert Ventura. 6 points on the night. Speaking of night, Seneca over the Allen Ikens. Eagles a little bit stagnant here offensively as Ward Hibbert with the off-balance shot but can't connect. Whelan. Spillman. So Gladiators cycle things back through. Great defense by Eagles as Long comes up with the steal.
Yeah, good patience there too.
Allen Ikens, speaking of patience, turns it over. 3-on-1 opportunity. Spillman over to Whelan, who finishes it.
Good timeout from Coach Studel, though. I think saw a little bit of a run. Things got a little sloppy there, but honestly, on both ends of the floor, I'm sure Johnny Bunyan is happy to see that timeout coming.
Yeah, Eagles with an opportunity there, come up with the steal, but then turn it over themselves. And the Gladiators running a textbook transition opportunity as Patrick Whelan able to finish things off. But both teams just kind of jabbing at each other in this third quarter, Sarah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a slow start for both teams. You know, I think this isn't a particularly high-scoring game for either of these teams. So, you know, as we see them moving into the end of this third, I think they got to grind this one out and be ready for a dogfight in the fourth.
Well, you expect nothing less than a dogfight when you played each other 7 times. You know each other. Well, you would say you would know each other inside and out. I'm sure the Gladiators fans probably know the Eagles players better than the players do, as Mark Studel mentioned earlier, 21 players so far this season for the Gladiators.
That is a big cycle through. I used the revolving door metaphor earlier. So yeah, it's hard to catch a rhythm when you've got that many guys coming in and out.
Well, I mean, even specifically from the point guard position, which is arguably the most important position, they've cycled through 5: Isaiah Hill, Jared Wilson-Frame, Nick Tomczyk, Kyle Jimenez. Teddy O was on the roster, haven't heard anything or seen him in the last week or so. So 12 imports, which is the most in league history. But all that matters is here and now, and this team you see on the floor is focused on one thing and one thing only, and that's still in a win on the road. They've been close right there, just against the Phoenix on Wednesday, coming up short there in the dying hours at home, but a team that's looked much better under the leadership of Johnny Bunyan.
Yeah, and I think that's something that he mentioned in his pregame. You know, they've been just trying to get, you know, he said knocking on the door of it. So, you know, these guys are hungry to get through it.
Cole Long over the long, outstretched hand of Hughes. And Gladiators are in the business. Back down to Hughes, spins around, skip pass. And
almost came to you there, Drew.
I mean, does he not know I retired 3 years ago? I do not have the same quick twitch muscles as I did back then, but I appreciate it as the Gladiators turn it over there. And again, both teams going back and forth, a little sloppy here. Stuck in third gear. Which team will be able to take some momentum into the fourth quarter as we enter the last 2:30? Pulliam had the hot hand earlier. And Seneca Knight, big time shot.
Yeah, he's no stranger to that feeling.
Pushes his personal to double figures as he has 10. And Eagles bring things back within 1. Crowd chanting defense. That's Ventura. And again, the last 2 plays, as we talked about, are a consequence of just not really knowing each other and being on the same page.
Yeah, and it's communication. You know, when you get to know your personnel, you kind of know when you dribble at certain guys, they're the type to backdoor, if they're the type to just cut through and go set an off-ball screen. And these guys are still going to be getting used to all those little ins and outs.
Well, there's your leading scorers here tonight. That's Pulliam and Seneca. They're in double figures. And for the Gladiators, Patrick Whelan, a quiet 14 points it feels. And Ramsey right behind them with 13.
Yeah, it's nice to see Eagles not really struggling too much with foul trouble here either. You know, it's something I was a little worried about at the beginning, that we were going to see guys get tired and end up with a roster that was going to get shortened even more because we were in foul trouble.
Well, Johnny Bunyan and the Caledonia Gladiators, who are sitting at home, and I'm sure every one of them are cheering for this fella here. Finished his career off with the Gladiators, and I'm sure in that huddle he'll be talking about the 15 turnovers there.
Yeah, I think, you know, I mentioned, I think 8 is something you'd want maybe for a game. We're seeing 8.5, and they're looking to stretch that to maybe 8 each half this game. So they've got to take care of the ball. Patience is key here. They're not chasing the game. They just need to hold on.
Well, the Eagles have an opportunity to do something that they haven't done for a very long time, or at all tonight, is take the lead.
That's a big foul there. We're still, you know, surprisingly, I feel like the refs are blowing their whistle, you know, a good amount here, but we're still not in where we're shooting free throws. So I think the Eagles need to keep going downhill, keep being aggressive, draw those fouls so they can get themselves on the charity stripe.
Well, there's only been 16 free throws in this game so far here tonight, and 12 of those have been from the Newcastle Eagles. We talked about the importance of them needing to get to the line, and the Gladiators don't visit the line that often. They do more of their work from beyond the arc where they've gotten up. 18 attempts tonight. at 44%. 6 on the clock. Alan Aikens looking to get inside. Mishandles it, turns, fades. And probably not quite the offense that Mark Studel would want there.
No, feels rushed, feels forced. You know, where we're seeing success is on those easy finishes.
And Alan Hodges, Eagles, Seneca Knight.
Oh.
And how often do you see that?
You know, surprisingly, not that often.
Not on a layup.
No.
As we like to call a wedgie.
There it goes. It fell. So, he set it up there. Maybe he did that on purpose.
I mean, is it considered a wedgie if it falls?
Well, still a jump ball regardless on here. So, yeah, I think, you know, by way of the stat sheet, it will be a wedgie.
Wow. Well, fortunate enough for Seneca Knight, he will head to the free throw line for 2. You see the Eagles fans here in better spirits as the Eagles with an opportunity to get their first lead in some time. Seneca unable to connect on the first. Unlucky on both, but guess who it is on the end of that?
None other than Josh Ward-Hibbert.
Well, he was on your star watch at the beginning of the game, and like we talked about, if you look at the box sheet, you might not be impressed, but if you've been watching every dribble, you see why. James looking to get inside, met by a bunch of Gladiators and terrific defense by Caledonia as Darius Defoe picks up the foul.
Yeah, and as much as we want to be frustrated with that, I think that that's a good foul. That's a smart play from him. You know, we stop that transition play. We stop an easy score down the other end. So now we get to set up, have a little bit more fluidity to our defense.
Well, that is only the first foul on Darius Defoe, and this is a Dan Rowless start and a stat. And Darius Defoe starts. I'm not sure we've ever gone this long without a foul, but this time it's Christian James with a pushing foul on Ventura. As the bonus is beginning to build up here, so both teams will be shooting free throws for the remaining 104.
Ooh.
And Alan Aikens able to come up with it. He's arguing that it's an Eagles ball, but we will stay here.
Yeah, this is so important in these moments. Stay composed, stay together. And you've got Darius out there. You see him talking extra. He's floor general in the middle of the floor right now. They need that.
Well, Caledonia needs to get this guy going again because he's been quiet in the half and just on cue.
I think he heard you. He said he has not been quiet. Here he is.
Wow, Ramsey. Seneca Knight unable to answer back. 2-for-1 opportunity here for the Gladiators as Ramsey muscles in, gets the continuation and count it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful play from him. He's definitely green light go right now, just downhill.
Wow, and just the foot speed of containing, keeping a guy like that in front is near impossible.
Yeah, it is. And you've got to, you know, I think that's where the adjustments on everybody else on the floor have to be made. And that's where you have to understand you're going to give up something. So who do you want shooting the three? You have that person helping in so that you don't get beat like that on a straight line drive.
Well, Ramsey comes with the resume, played at Sierra Canyon out in Los Angeles, but was part of the Under-17 Basketball World Cup in 2014, where he did win a gold medal, and Jason Tatum and was part of that team, to name a few. But Seneca Knight unable to step through, in the Gladiators. In the last minute and a half, the Eagles, Seneca Knight at the free throw line with the Eagles with an opportunity to take the lead, misses both. And Ramsey since then has scored 6 points.
Yeah, it feels like we're trying to force some 1v1 matchups right now that I think we want to see. Eagles just stick with their easy offenses. Play it simple.
The Gladiators can hold for one, and I don't think it will be a shock if Ramsey dribbles this out and uses to attack this and keep the ball in his hands. And you see why.
That would have been an absolute dagger if that one went down. It's so hard with him because you want to go underneath the screen so you can get in front and drop that straight line drive. But you also want to chase over the top because he's knocking down threes, so it's a hard decision to make.
Well, Seneca Knight here with the chance, didn't even get an attempt up, and that will do it here after 30 minutes with the Gladiators, where they have all evening long, head into the fourth quarter with a 7-point lead.
Yeah, you know, and I think one of the stats that I'd like to see change a little bit for Eagles is they've only got 11 points from turnovers, and for a team to have 16 turnovers in 3 quarters, that's definitely something you'd like to see that number a little higher, and something I'm sure, I don't know right now, Mark will bring up on that stat sheet, but definitely after game, that's something he'll mention.
Well, let's see what the stats tell us, and as you take a look at it, Sarah, what jumps out at you?
Well, something that's changed definitely in that third quarter. We got 29 rebounds to 19 for Caledonia, but you know, as we stay on that 3-point percentage, it's dropped significantly for, well, not significantly, still a great percentage, but not as hot in that third quarter.
Well, for the Newcastle Eagles, they have to be fortunate to only be down by 7 when they're shooting 37%.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I think that speaks to efficiency too. You know, when you're playing 1v1 basketball, 1v1 basketball, you're going to get shots up that you need. Guys to get more rebounds, you need more shots up.
Well, Johnny Bunyan being joined there by the former ACB player, Ventura. I'm sure he has a little bit of wisdom to help him get his first victory.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and I'm sure as a former player himself, you know, he's going to be able to lean into that because he's been in that position where sometimes, you know, guys that are on the floor have that wisdom. They have the ability to see and feel out what's going on the floor, so definitely using that to his advantage.
We'd love to see the leadership there from the vet as the Gladiators desperately look to end this 7-game slide, and they have a good opportunity here, but as we've seen many games here before, it's never over here in Virtue Motors Arena.
Yeah, and I think that's something the fans know.
Well, the Newcastle Eagles decide to roll out Allen Aikens, Ward Hibbert, Defoe, Pulliam. And who's the 5th guy?
Seneca?
Seneca Knight. I'm looking all around the court for him. He's right there.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you got Christian James going into this fourth quarter on 4 fouls. Really the only guy in foul trouble right now, so quiet 8 points.
Well, we talked about Christian James. Got off to that great start, but only 3 for 10 with 4 fouls here as we enter money time, the fourth quarter. Allen Aikens spins into a crowd. Darius Defoe gets to his midi. You don't see that too often.
Yeah, you definitely don't see that miss too often.
Ramsey. Ward Hibbert gets caught up. Ventura, the man we were talking about at the quarter, steps up big there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big play from him. Way to be patient. Caught guys just slipping a little bit.
And just like that, the Gladiators on a 9-0 run as Pulliam looking to get into his bag. And he can't connect, and this time it's Ramsey who's withering in a little bit of pain.
Yeah, not sure what happened there. It looked like their feet just got cut up there.
Christian James, 8 points. Doesn't look too thrilled, but there's plenty of ball game left, and they're gonna need him down the stretch, along with the guy next to him. Well, the Caledonia Gladiators with the opportunity to push the lead back up. Crowd wanting defense. Fak Benlay, not his forte usually, and the Newcastle Eagles will live with that. If you're the Eagles, what do you need out of this possession here?
a calm, cool, collected, easy score. This is not the opportunity to go down and play back to the basket 1v1 basketball. We need an easy score, keep it simple, be patient.
Not that.
Not that, but unfortunately that's something he's been able to get the last couple, so not necessarily the worst from him.
In fact, Bentley able to step around, can't finish. 3-on-1 opportunity here for the Eagles as Pulliam finishes it off.
That's a tough one. I think, you know, when you got a guy staying down the other end and he doesn't run back on defense, you only hope you get the cherry picking opportunity.
I haven't heard that term in quite some time, cherry picking.
Is this me showing my old headness?
You're showing the versatile vocabulary. In fact, Bentley comes up empty again from underneath. And Allen Ikens turns down the first, decides on a second. Maybe should have unloaded on the first one when you have the rhythm.
Yeah, I think, you know, Anwas was daring him to shoot there. I think on that one, you got to call their bluff.
Well, a missed opportunity there from the Eagles, but a missed opportunity from the Gladiators specifically. In fact, Bentley, who's missed 2 layups on the consecutive plays, and those are the type of plays at the end of the game you go back and you look and you say, ah.
Yeah, those are the give me's.
Ramsey. Gladiators looking to go inside, and Barnes just held there by Ward Hibbert. And not a bad foul when you look at the size matchup. And
yeah, switching on that ball screen right there, somebody's going to get pinned underneath, and with the size of this Gladiators roster, you know, whatever 5 is on the floor, there's going to be some sort of mismatch when they're switching that ball screen.
well, Gladiators looking to get into their offense as Ward Hibbert picks up another blocking foul, and suddenly that's his 4th. And now Mark Sudo with a decision to make. He decides to roll the dice, and Ward Hibbert, who's naturally aggressively on the ball, has to be careful here as Barnes able to use the length to get the rebound, and he travels.
Ooh, lucky one there. That's just as you were saying, Josh is going to need to be careful on the ball. He still hands in there. He never shies away from a play like that, so forced to travel.
Well, Eagles get their stop. Let's see what they're able to do on this end of things. And Seneca Knight, he's been quiet. It'd be a good time for him to showcase his talents here in the 4th.
Yeah, you know, and we were guessing that it was going to be James who was going to come out and really take over this game, and I think in this 4th quarter we kind of need to see who's going to step up and really put the team on their back.
Well, Seneca Knight, the only natural scorer here in this group. Pulliam, switch there by the Gladiators, skip it off to Knight, loses his footing, flips it up, shot clock running out of time, and a shot clock violation by the Eagles.
Yeah, it didn't hit rim there. That's a tough one. You know, you love it if it goes in, if that had gone in for Seneca, but you know, when they go long like that, no rim, no reset on the shot clock, you can feel that frustration.
I think the issue for the Eagles tonight is just not enough clean offense, not allowing their sets to create looks, trying to create things off dribbles where we've seen a lot of stumbles, turnovers, errant shots, and that's why they're in this 8-point hole here.
Yeah, absolutely, you know, and I think these 5 that aren't necessarily used to playing together as
And Ventura buries it in his 2 for 2 here in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, he has definitely found his rhythm in this game. You can see it in him.
A guy that's been around the block, not afraid of these type of moments. But speaking of moment, Newcastle Eagle once again turns it over.
Yep, and here comes the timeout from Coach Studel.
Okay, Eagles fans,
and you put on your coaching hat. What's Coach Studel going to be saying in that huddle?
Probably a few choice words. something to the effect of get your head out of your shorts, which I think, they can't put their heads down right now. This isn't the time to say, this one isn't for us. They're still very much in this game. Still 6 minutes of basketball to play, almost 7 minutes of basketball to play. It's not that big of a gap. We've seen them turn it around in less time. So, I think moving over to Coach Bunyan, I think he's going to say, keep your foot on the gas and keep pushing, because these have been silly plays, and even just that, they're only up 11 right now, and there's been some silly turnovers. So I think if you take that out, they're up by 20.
Well, the Newcastle Eagles with a tough stretch upcoming. We mentioned it before, head off to London tomorrow before facing the Lions on Sunday at 2 o'clock, before jetting off to Denmark Sunday evening with a date with the Back and Bears on Tuesday for the European Northern Basketball League quarterfinals. A team that's really juggled a tough schedule so far this season, which includes winning the trophy final.
Yeah, and they did that without Trey Pulleyman, so, I think right now being able to get him they've seen big wins without guys on the floor already. I think they have confidence being able to win with a shortened roster, but they definitely need to be able to pull this one over the edge tonight.
Well, the Gladiators starting to see a little bit of light at the end of that tunnel. A lot to do with Ventura here in the fourth quarter. 6 points, both from beyond the arc. Can he make it 9? Yes, he does.
Ooh, a big smile on his face as he runs back down the other end of the floor. His bench is loving it.
And I wonder how many Spanish floors has he's done that on, as the Gladiators, small traveling fans, enjoying that one. The Eagles needing something to happen as Pulliam gets stripped, and Owens tries to tightrope the sideline and steps out of bounds. And again, the Eagles, lack of ball movement, lack of creation, lack of player movement, causing issues.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good right now.
But on the other hand, we must give the Gladiators defense a lot of credit here. A team that's been in a lot of games, been there close, but unable to get across the line. And I mean, if Johnny Bunyan can do it here, how fitting would it be to do it against a team that he's had many battles in, including losing 22 consecutive games? I mentioned that to him earlier pregame.
You may or may not have. Ooh!
Big shot there by the Eagles. Much needed.
Much needed. You hear the fans get behind him again. That momentum hit them. They need a stop here for sure.
They need to keep their eyes on Ventura. As Fag Benlay looking to work in the post. Doesn't like what he see. Onwas getting bottled up in the corner. Tries to squeeze his way inside and is fouled. Onwas doing a great job of creating something out of nothing there, as he looks to get his first scores of the evening. And right there, Eagles with an opportunity, had him bottled up there, sideline, baseline. You got to angle that offensive player out of bounds.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Anybody up against Onwas is a bit of a mismatch. He's a big guard who's able to really, make his presence known, and he's able to get across there and draw the foul.
He makes the first. And you know where he's from?
Let me take a guess. I'm going to go with Texas.
Katy, Texas, to be exact. My hometown. Watched this guy when he was in high school, and really proud of his journey. Just become a new father this summer and has really become a staple there in the Gladiator community. And boy, how he would love to contribute to Coach Bunyan's first ever career win. Nice pass there down the neighbor, and that's something that Will brings to the table, is that soft touch inside.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think with him, you don't so much talk about his inside presence because he is such a dominant three-point shooter, and you look at him as someone that can stretch the floor out, pull your defense out, but being able to see him finish inside like that is great.
Ramsey, greatly defended by Pulliam. Spillman Spillman, who's been quiet on the night, great shooter. Eagles with an opportunity here. Pulliam decides to get organized. Long, great patience there, great footwork.
Yep, and here comes the timeout from Johnny Bunyan. But again, when we look at that, it's just simple basketball. Being patient, guys, being in the right place, getting the ball into the right places, and we get easy scores.
Well, as we enter the final 5 minutes here, Coach Bunyan beginning to sense a little bit of the momentum shift, and Newcastle Eagles stepping it up on the defensive end, but more importantly, getting better looks offensively.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that comes, I'm going to keep on saying it. Basketball is a game of runs, so you've got to understand sometimes that's not going to go in your favor, but keep your head up, keep fighting, and dig deep, and that's something this Eagles team is no stranger to.
Well, the Gladiators, on the other hand, 9 out of their 11 points have come from Ventura. Fans getting on their feet as they can sense a little bit of momentum in the building. Will the Eagles be able to feed off of it?
Howard, let's head back to you. Finish up the ball.
36 remains on the game clock. Let's get behind your Eagles.
Cole, Long, Pulliam, Seneca Knight, Will Neighbor, Christian James. The Fab Five for the Eagles. While the Gladiators roll out Onwas, Spillman, Fagbinley, Ventura, and Ramsey. Big possession here by the Gladiators. Looks like it's a Ramsey action. Greatly defended there by Pulliam. Uses the great footwork to get inside. Fagbinley, great offensive rebound. And it's fouled by Neighbor.
Yeah, that's a tough one. You have such a big presence in there. Ramsey has to get the ball up over the mountain that is Will Neighbor, but unfortunately we don't box out. We give him that second chance opportunity.
But the way Fagbinley was just able there to just claw the rebound, I mean, really showing off that length of his.
Yeah, and that athleticism that he has.
A project that the Gladiators organization are investing in, looking to develop. Has gotten an opportunity here, played center a lot in college, but has had the opportunity to play on the perimeter. They've seen some growing pains, but as a young player, that's how you learn and grow.
Yeah, absolutely. Your role is going to shift depending on the team that's with you, so I think he's been able to do both well.
Well, he knocks down both there, which pushes the Gladiators' lead back to 11. Final 4 minutes as James slips in, spins, nowhere to go. Bunyan wanting a foul, but is fouled by, looks like it might have been Fagbinley there, which is only his first of the evening. And James, who we mentioned before, really got the party started, but since then has been quiet.
Yeah, I think, defensively he's struggling a little bit, and I think he's definitely someone that his defense will feed his offense. When he's feeling good down one end, he's feeling good down the other. So he's having a bit of a struggle defensively today, and I think that's showing for him.
Yeah, well, a little foul issues for the Newcastle Eagles as Christian James, along with Josh Ward-Hibbert, sit on 4 for the Gladiators. Trevon Barnes with 4 as well. Lead back down to single digits. Fagbinley. Onwas with the mismatch inside with the smaller Pulliam. Flips it up, and again, Fagbinley using that length.
Just all the way underneath the basket there, too, and still managed to get a hand on it and disrupt that play.
Great patience there by Ventura. Looking to milk a little bit of that clock. Skips it over to Spillman. Unable to hit all evening long from downtown, but the Eagles again. And Ventura.
You can hear Eagles fans saying, just grab the ball.
Literally doing a great job of boxing out, but someone needing to go and attack the ball. But boy, the Gladiators with the missed opportunities on that possession with an opportunity to throw out the knockout punch there, but Spielman unable to knock it down. 3:13 here remaining, huge possession for the Eagles. Seneca over to Cole Long, gets to his favorite spot, short.
Yeah, but I think realistically, 9-point game, 3 minutes, it's not doable.
Off the ball foul there by Seneca Knight. And that will send the Gladiators to the free throw line. Barnes, as good as they come at 80%. Knocks down the first, and as we start to have the MVP conversation, Sarah.
Yeah.
If the Gladiators are able to pull this off.
Yeah, I mean, I think realistically I'm looking in Ramsey's direction. You know, he had a really good start to the game. He did quiet down a little bit, but I think he's definitely been the impact player of the game for me.
And a +8 as well. Will Neighbor unloads. Seneca Knight, great job hustling it down. 2:35, Seneca steps back, and that one rims out. Tough luck for the Eagles. Your man Ramsey. Gladiators stand calm. GB International, Patrick Whelan with the mismatch. Steps around Neighbors, finishes, and the bucket.
Yeah, like I said, switching on those ball screens, you know, that's something that Patrick Whelan is going to look at and say, you know, I'm going to play with my food now and just dribble down and get an easy bucket. So
that's one thing that
Let's make some noise.
it is in Whelan's repertoire, is getting strong downhill with the right hand. And Whelan trying to change your mind on the MVP vote. As you say, you had your eyes locked in on Ramsey.
Yeah.
Let's see if Eagles can change their fortune in this last 2 minutes. James, Eagles needing something quick. And he's fouled on the floor. Well, 159, 13-point lead. We've seen the Eagles claw themselves out of many holes, but Will Neighbor, big time shot.
I love that from him. That's one thing he's going to do. When he gets it in that spot, you leave him a little bit of room, he's going to get it off.
Giving these Eagles fans a little bit of hope.
Yeah, you know, and something that's important to mention here, not taking your foot off the gas. We talked about those championship standings and moving into the playoffs. These point differentials are going to matter, so there is no time to quit here.
And Spielman steps around Pulliam. Wow. Quiet all evening, and no better way to get his 4th point of the game. Extra pass. Eagles sharing the basketball as James steps around, finishes with the left. The Eagles need a little bit of pressure here in the backcourt. Yep. Lead back down to 10.
And you can see Ventura just giving them that little bit of extra. You can see the vet in him saying, keep it easy, keep it easy.
And the leadership that he showed ever since that 3rd quarter huddle has really paid off for the Gladiators as Spielman delivers the blow.
Yeah, that's a dagger of a 3.
Spielman with the last 5 points from the Gladiators, which takes the lead up to 13 with 50 seconds remaining. As Cole Long goes to the line for 2. But right now, the Newcastle Eagles in a deep hole. Misses it, gets his own rebound, spins, and that sums up the Newcastle Eagles' evening. 40 seconds remaining in here, and I'm sure the Gladiators fans at home are beaming from ear to ear as Coach Johnny Bunyan is 30 seconds away from his first ever career coaching victory against no only but his rivals, against the Newcastle Eagles.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll feel good, you know, and obviously there's something to be said, you know, when you're playing against a roster that is down, but at the same time, this is a convincing win. I think they're going to want to prove that it's not a fluke, and we look forward to seeing Caledonia down this home stretch of the season.
Well, Ramsey with 19.6 assists, but this guy here, Albert Ventura, solid throughout the night, 15 points. But the leadership that we've seen for him all evening long has been priceless.
Yeah, that composure, I think, is something that Caledonia was previously really lacking and something that he's been able to bring.
Pulliam, and that should do it. The Caledonia Gladiators have came to Virtue Motors Arena and stole one. As Ramsey decides to dribble things out.
Yeah, I'd go for it too.
And
These
puts
point
the finishing
differentials
touches
matter.
on things.
They matter.
Wow. And that will wrap it up, 83-67. And the Caledonia Gladiators snap a 7-game losing streak. But the biggest story is that fella right there, Johnny Bunyan, collecting his first ever coaching victory in the SLB on the road behind that man right there, Deverl Ramsey, with a solid 21 points of the evening and 6 assists to bring some positivity to Scotland. Let's take a look at the stats. And the story there is the efficiency from the Gladiators, 86% from the free throw, 46 from the three-point, 50% overall, but more importantly, dominating the board. 42-28, you saw it there in the fourth. In fact, Binley with multiple offensive rebounds, and look at the huddle there from the Gladiators. They give Johnny Bunyan a dry shower. I'm sure if they had the water bottles there, it'd be all over them. But Mark Studel in troops. How will he deal with the injuries? Micah Caro, leading scorer in the SLB. A trip to the capital on Sunday. A trip to Denmark on Tuesday. Things could look a lot differently here in a week's time as we roll through the highlights. But a lot of that will be the Gladiators, who got it done on all aspects, holding the Eagles to only 67 points, averaging 86 a game, but doing a wonderful job in getting it done. Ventura showing off his leadership. Stepping up big in the fourth quarter. Cole Long trying to save the day late, but Eagles just running out of time. But Spillman able to finish things off. Coach Johnny Bunyan picks up his first victory. Well, let's head with the man of the hour, Ramsey, as he's courtside with Sarah.
Deverl, you seem to have huge games here at Virtue Motors Arena. 21 points tonight, MVP of the game. How do you feel?
I just feel good. You know, we came away with a W. You know, we were trying to get one for a while now, and I'm happy with y'all put it together.
Yeah, it's Coach Bunyan's first win as head coach. How does it feel to help him deliver on that?
You know, it's great, you know, to get him his first win as a coach. I'm just happy, you know, we all kind of put it together. We did it for Coach, did it for each other today.
Yeah, and you've seen a lot of roster changes this season so far. How does it feel coming in as a new guy?
Yeah, you know, it's always tough coming in the middle of the season, but everyone made it real easy. Everyone welcomed me with open arms, and it's just been a good ride so far.
Yeah, and we're going to bring Coach in here. Tell us how it feels, Coach. First win, how you feeling?
Oh, I feel great. Like, we've been waiting a couple of weeks for it, you know. But I think it was always good to maybe start on a little bit of a downward trend, you know, then we can build ourselves back up. So, but no doubt about it. It feels pretty good.
Yeah, and tell us about this man right here, MVP tonight, DeVero, 21 points. He seems to have good games at Virtue Motors. So tell us about him.
Yeah, he got off a flight and he had about 20 down here last time as well. But the scoring's great, but it's his kind of like his intensity on defence, his leadership really gives us a different look with his speed. And yeah, couldn't be more happy with him.
Yeah, so moving forward into the league, home stretch of the season, what do you have to say?
We just need to keep building. You know, it was great to win tonight, but you know, we're still where we are in the league, and that's kind of, you know, what we're fighting against right now. So hopefully we can just push on from this victory.
Okay, well, congrats on the win, guys.
Thank you.
Wow, Gladiators fans, open up the single malt, open up the champagne bottles, and celebrate because you deserve it. One of your own, Coach Johnny Bunyan picking up his first career victory. And we take a look at the rest of the fixtures you see on the other side of town. Leicester Riders getting things done down in Bristol, but the Newcastle Eagles back on the road on Sunday against the London Lions. But more importantly, the Cup final. Sheffield Sharks versus the Surrey 89ers. If you haven't gotten your tickets, get them ASAP. Otherwise, get your eyes locked in on DAZN as we have another opportunity to lift a trophy. But tonight, it was all about the Gladiators as they come on the road in Virtue Motors Arena and shock the home crowd. We appreciate you joining us tonight, myself and Sarah Burkett. But until then, we will see you guys next time. Good night.
A new dawn rises, where champions emerge and redefine the game, where limits are tested and greatness is unleashed. This is when legends are born. Super League Basketball, a new dawn is here.